The sniper shot indiscriminately. The target, however, was not random. It was an immigration, customs, and enforcement facility in Dallas. The sniper positioned himself on a nearby rooftop and opened fire in what authorities described as a spray pattern. Bullets hit the facility and a nearby unmarked van. 3 people who were either ICE detainees or were there for ICE check-ins were wounded. 1 has died. 2 are in critical condition. The shooter, identified as 29-year-old Joshua John, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The FBI revealed bullet casings found near the shooter. 1 carried an etching that read, "Anti-ICE." Authorities are still trying to determine definitively a motive, political or otherwise. This much we know. ICE reports a 1,000% increase in assaults on ICE personnel since President Trump took office in January. ICE doesn't specify the severity of assaults, and in some instances, charged offenses have revealed minor physical interactions, bumps and shoves. The majority of these instances, however, appear serious. For example, at that very same ICE facility in Dallas in late August, a man was arrested for issuing a bomb threat. Also in August, a protester in San Francisco was charged with slashing the tires of a government vehicle and threatening to stab a federal agent during an enforcement operation. On July 7th, a gunman opened fire at a Border Patrol facility in McAllen, Texas. 2 agents and a Border Patrol employee were injured. Authorities killed that gunman. That same month, a police officer was shot in the neck outside an ICE detention facility in Alvarado, Texas. Authorities described the shooting as a, quote, ambush. 10 suspects have been charged. The Trump administration touts its aggressive enforcement of existing immigration laws. That has provoked a backlash. But this violence constitutes a dangerous and worrisome pattern. Our Camilo Montoya-Galvez just discussed this with Todd Lyons, who's the acting director of ICE. Camilo, what did he tell you?
Major ICE Director Todd Lyons told us that tragically 1 person who was in ICE custody this morning has tragically died. He also mentioned that 2 other detainees in ICE custody remain in critical condition as a result of the shooting. Let's take a listen to how the director described the shooting and how it unfolded.
The Dallas field office came under sniper fire today. Multiple rounds were fired into the building indiscriminately, into the lobby doors, the windows, various walls in the building, but also our sally port, which is where we bring in a secure location for detainees. The shooter fired indiscriminately into vehicles. The detainees were in the vehicle at the time. They weren't outside. There was no way you could have known detainees were in there. There were also officers from other agencies, other federal partners assisting us. 3 detainees were hit. 1, unfortunately, was killed. The sniper did commit suicide by a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
And Major, the director told us that he is also reevaluating and re-examining security measures at ICE facilities in light of the shooting.
And they believe, that is to say, the FBI, at least initially, this was targeted?
That's what the acting director told us. Director Lyons said that he believes this shooting was targeted at ICE agents in specific because he says that the shooter could not actually see the detainees who he says were inside of a vehicle when the shooting occurred. Let's take a listen to that exchange.
I feel that it was a definite targeted attack on ICE facility. You don't shoot out the windows. You just don't shoot at the random vehicles. You don't pick that location, a specific spot in Dallas, just to make a statement. When you have anti-ICE rhetoric written on the bullets, you know who they're targeting. And then, I wouldn't even say it's targeting against ICE, it's targeting against law enforcement.
And Major, the acting ICE director also told us that he believes the increased ICE rhetoric against ICE enforcement across the country is playing a role in this very tense environment, and he would like to see politicians, in his words, dial it down and understand, in his words, that ICE is trying to promote public safety, not to deteriorate public safety or separate families.
And Camilo, what did the acting ICE director say about the ability, or perhaps the inability that he worries about, to protect facilities and personnel on an ongoing basis?
Well, Major, he told us that nowadays he usually is now having to send multiple agents on what used to be routine operations, now in some cases to arrest one individual who is suspected of being in the country illegally. The agency is sending a dozen officials and agents to arrest that person. Before, those teams were limited to 6 or a handful of individuals, but the teams are getting bigger, not because the potential targets are posing a threat, in his words, Major, but because the situation during an arrest could escalate because of other individuals in the surrounding community, and they want to take precautions, especially in light of these deadly situations, Major.
Bringing back up beforehand, Camilo Montoya-Galvez with a very important interview. We thank you very, very much.